Hello everyone, welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. My name is Marla. Today I am sharing this semi-single layer card using the Ton Fresh Cut Sunflower stamp. And these are the inks that I'm using from Pink Fresh Studio. Slumber, Blue Jay, Sapphire are the blues. Ballet Slipper, Sparkling Rose, and Bubblegum are the pinks. Soft Lilac, Lavender, Candy Violet are the purples. Fresh Pear, Grassy, Knoll, and Key Lime are the greens. So I'm going to start off by stamping the largest sunflower in Slumber, which is the lightest of the blue colors. And basically I wanted to share this card because I know a lot of people struggle with layering their stamps and getting things lined up, and people throw things away because they're not happy with the imperfections in their card. And I just wanted to show that, you know, not every card is going to be perfect, and that a card can still be beautiful with its imperfections. So you can see this is probably one of the more difficult of the layered stamps that I have. This is the first time that I'm using it, so I am not familiar with, I didn't watch any videos or anything. This is an older stamp that I've had in my collection that I just haven't used, and I finally got the second layer lined up, and I'm using the Blue Jay. And that's probably one of my favorite blue colors in this collection. It's just a really beautiful blue. So I do that second layer in Blue Jay, and then I come in with Sapphire. Sapphire is going to be the third layer, and you're going to see that I'm trying to figure out, you know, where precisely it lines up. And that third layer I got it a little bit quicker, but you're going to see when I start stamping the next flower, or actually the third flower, that I don't put the entire flower on the card panel, so it's off to the side, and so it takes me a little bit longer to figure out how to line it up. So you see, I didn't line this up perfectly. I just kind of guesstimated where it's supposed to go, and I have that little bit of white, but in the finished card it's still really pretty, so I'm not going to worry about it. And I stamped that first middle piece in Slumber, and then the second one I used the Blue Jay, and now I'm going to come in with my purple colors. So this first one on this smaller sunflower is going to be Soft Lilac. And this one's a little bit easier to line up. It's fairly simple. There's no having to turn the petals and figure out which way it's going. So that next layer is going to be stamped in Lavender, and then the third layer is going to be Candy Violet. And then I'll come back in with the middle pieces, and I'll come back with that Soft Lilac, and then my second stamp is going to be the Candy Violet. And you'll see, because when I'm stamping on camera, I don't like to get my head in the shot to get a perfect lineup, you know, to get over the center of it. You probably would not have some of the white space that I end up with, and that's only because I don't like filming the top of my head. So I really try hard to keep that out of the camera. Now I'm coming in. This is the one that, you know, I struggled with a little bit trying to line up. I'm going to turn that around because I'm going to decide I want those larger petals showing. So I'm going to start off with Ballet Slipper, which is the lightest pink, and then I'm going to come in and try to get that lined up, and it's going to take me a minute. I just, you know, I was trying to find points that seemed like that they would make sense to line up, and eventually I found them. And now I'm coming in with the Sparkling Rose. I've said this before, these Pink Fresh Studio inks are super vibrant. They're just, you know, if you're looking for a nice ink collection, to start off with. I really recommend these. I just think that the colors are fantastic. And I decided, instead of creating a traditional sunflower, that I wanted to create something that was a little brighter and a little more cheery. I love sunflowers for, summer cards and fall cards, but I'm ready for spring, as I've said before, and I'm ready for bright colors. And I just thought that these Pink Fresh Studio pinks and blues and lavenders were just really pretty and would make a beautiful card. So here we go. I'm twisting and turning and trying to figure out. I'm going to do this layer in Bubblegum, which is going to be a really bright pink, but you'll see, how beautiful this is when you get this layered. Oh my goodness, look at that big sunflower to the right. Look at how beautiful it is with all of the layers of stamps on there. It's absolutely gorgeous. So now I'm looking at the inside, and I'm trying to find points on the inside of that circle that can help me with lining it up, and that was a little bit easier for me. So I'm going to ink this a couple times with the bubble gum to get just a nice look at that. Isn't that pretty? I just think that that's just a beautiful color combination. Now I'm going to come back in with that middle piece, and I'm going to stamp that in Ballet Slipper, and then I will stamp the second stamp for that center with Bubblegum. So I went a little bit more vibrant on the second stamp. And you can see I still got it. I'm going to try to line it and get a little bit more. There we go. But I still have a little bit of that white. And that, like I said, a lot of that is due to me not putting my head over the card, trying to keep my head out of the way while I'm filming. So I did cut out this mask roughly. I'm a terrible fussy cutter. I've said this a million times. And here is another place where I get my imperfect stamping. So I am going to misalign this, and it's going to look a little bit funky, but I will eventually get it fixed enough for me. And, I just want everyone to know that a card just doesn't have to be perfect. It's handmade, and we are not perfect individuals, and we can work with imperfections in our cards and still not throw them away. So there's a layering stamp I didn't use on the stem on the other side, and I'm going to try that, but I'm going to misalign that again so it doesn't line up right. So now I'm going to come in with this leaf, and I'm going to try to fix it with the leaf, but I don't get the leaf up high enough. So then I will come back a third time with that stem, and I will get it straightened out enough for me. So the layers that I used on these leaves, the first layer is Fresh Pear, the second layer is Grassy Knoll, and the third layer is going to be Key Lime. And I thought about using the bigger leaf, and I decided against it. I stayed with the smaller one. The bigger leaf I think would be really pretty if you were just laying the sunflowers with no stems, or you were just putting one or two large sunflowers on there. I think that the big leaves, the larger leaves in the set would be really pretty with that, but I just went ahead, since I'm doing a little bit of a cluster-like bunch, I thought that I would go ahead and use just the smaller leaf and turn it and change the direction that those leaves go. So this is, a fairly clean and simple card. I am going to mount it on a piece of Hero Hues Lapis 111-pound cardstock, and then I will put it on my Ninah 110-pound card base. Now these sunflowers are stamped on Ninah 80-pound cardstock. I was just looking there to see where my sentiment was going to go, to decide whether I wanted to put more leaves on the other side of that sunflower or not. But this layer that I'm stamping on right now is Ninah 80-pound cardstock. All right, So I'm going to have 2 more leaves. I'm going to do 1 more layer on each of those, and then I'm going to mask off the blue flower, and I'm going to put a leaf up there towards the top. And then it will be time to stamp my sentiment. And my sentiment is going to be stamped in the Blue Jay, which, as I said, is just a vibrant, beautiful blue color. And so I thought about going with the deepest color blue, which was Sapphire, but in the end I decided that I was going to use the Blue Jay because I love that Blue Jay so much. So instead of heat embossing it or doing anything, I just went ahead and stamped it at the bottom of the card. I'm going to, right now this panel right here is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but you will see that I am going to start cutting that down. And when I do, I'm going to cut this panel down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then the Hero Hues Lapis, which is that blue, the blue background that I use, it is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So here I go. I'm just, see how I have that, I didn't want to stamp the stem again, so that's where I chose to cut, was from the bottom, just to even out the stems. And then I'm going to use my Kokuyo Dot Liner. I did get this at on Amazon, and I'm going to leave a 1/4 inch border, straighten that out a little bit, and then I will put it onto a card base, and there's my final card. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you again next time.